Hello, what is up everybody? Hope everybody's doing well. As I promised, I will be doing this quick TOEFL explanation video as I promised. However, I'm taking really long to make those videos because I have many obligations I have to attend to, but I will try to do my best with this series. Alright, so great, you chose a university abroad, you've checked this website, you've seen its requirements, and one of the main requirements is a TOEFL test. Many universities have TOEFL score requirements, as some of them just require you to get a decent level. Let's say from 80 to up to 100, 110, depends on the university you want to go to. For my personal experience, I was required 80 scores, but I worked on 100 because, well, I aimed to get 100. Okay, so let's do this road to 95, which is the score I got. So, you chose your university, and that is really important. You chose the university you want to study in, you checked its required scores. Let's say the university you want to apply to requires you to get, let's say, a 90, so you will be working to get 100, and that is effective method. It worked for me. You work for a score above the score you're required to get. That way some other variables will impact your score, and whatever mark you get, you will still be getting the result that you wanted. Okay, so first of all, you've made your decision about the university. You know what you are required to get. Second, you book your test. You go to the site, to the ETS site, you book your test date. That is the main first step. Tell me why. Well, I had material TOEFL preparation worth about $100, like for, let's say, 3 years. I persisted when I started studying English in university, but I never, and I mean it, like I never used it. Like I sufficed by studying my study materials, and I was like, well, yeah, TOEFL is a test, and when I want to take it, I will study the material. And that's exactly what happened. I never took a look, not even a small glimpse at the material, until I paid for the test. Until the day I actually paid for the test. That's the day when I started studying. I devised about a month and 10, 12 days, let's say 40 days for the test, with a good schedule. That is the next thing. You schedule your test whatever time you have at hand. I had like 3 months to 3 months in total to prepare for the TOEFL as well as the GRE. So I devised the first 40 days for the TOEFL, and that was enough. At last I knew it was enough, because at the start I figured, oh, I'm in a rush, I should do this faster. Anyway, let's not talk so much about my experience, and let's get to the practicalities. So, you book your test, you're sure about the day of the test, you know how many days you've left exactly, and according to that you devise, let's say, 4 hours a day. And that is a must, like 4 hours dedicated to just the TOEFL test. You study everything about the TOEFL test. We will get to that later. Okay, let's see another point I want to talk about. Now you've booked your test, you know the date, you know everything. Now you get prepared for the actual test. You know the test parts, which are speaking. Well, let's start with the listening, with the same order as you will encounter in the test. So, reading, listening, speaking, and then writing. Each of the parts has equal marks, 30 with 1 point increment in all the parts except for the speaking part, which has a different method of measurement. Okay, so in those 40 days, as I was saying, you study for at least 4 hours a day. And with the TOEFL test, let's see, The TOEFL test, it doesn't only measure your language abilities, because let's be clear here, it's a test that you are getting, let's say, to enter university. That's one. Second, maybe you are doing the test for practicing some job. That means that you should already be possessing a level of English. And like for me, I was an English student and I've already possessed some English knowledge, but when I started studying, I'm like, what is this kind of information? Like, even though I'm like a multitasking guy, like I know little about many topics, but I found some topics that I weren't not even a little bit familiar with. Not the language, not the style, and not the topic in itself. So you get yourself familiarized with the TOEFL type of topics, and you learn how to actually approach the test. As I was saying, it is not just a language test, it is like a test that tests you as a person, as a productive person, to be precise. Tell me how. Well, first, let's say the reading part. You get a text to read in about, let's say, 30 minutes. You've already been reading your whole life. Let's not exaggerate. Maybe you've been reading for the past at least 2 years. Even if you don't read books, you'd be reading for school, for leisure, however. Okay, so you get a you get a text to read in about 30 minutes, and in this 30 minutes you also have to answer the questions. Let's say about 40 to up to 45 questions about that text. So you should manage the time really efficiently. You should one of the methods to managing the reading time is like read the text in 10 minutes maximum. You gotta do that like so fast. Then go back to the questions, and bear in mind that each question you probably have to go back to the text to like be sure about the information. So like you gotta read the text really quick and then get back to it. That's an example or a tip for the reading part. For the listening part, however, you'd be required to take notes, because you cannot go back to the listening unless it is featured. Like you cannot go back and forth, you cannot manipulate it. So it tests actually your understanding of listening material as well as your note-taking abilities. You gotta be taking notes about everything you see important. So like it's note-taking testing as well as smartness testing. So it tests how smart you are to devise between important and irrelevant information that are needless to be noted, and your focus levels. That is one tip about the listening part. The speaking is like really testing. It's like testing all of the aforementioned criteria, as well as some extra criteria which I think psychological ones. You're not an English speaker, so you're speaking English as a foreigner, so like you will be having some panics about speaking, and that's where speaking test tricks comes in. It's like you be getting nervous and you have so little time to answer, so it's either you overspeak, and that is kind of rare. You overspeak, for example, the first part, you hear the question, then 30 seconds to prepare your answer, and I advise you to prepare the answer via pen. So you take a pen, you write a few notes about your answer, so like your mind get clear about what you're gonna say. Alright, you have 1 minute to answer that question, and in that 1 minute most people would have their mind blurred and stressed, so they would either, as I've seen so many of the people I helped with the test, they get like speak for 30 seconds and say, alright, that's it. And I'm like, well, you still got another 30 seconds. You need to fill the time with talk, not just answer the question. So you like have to pace yourself in a way that you will answer the question in 1 minute, not more, not less. So it's like time in your speaking, and that you get with practicing with a timer. The writing. Now the writing, it's like let's not say easier or harder than any other part, because I actually take all the four aspects in equal measurement. So like the writing, you get no time to use no paper, no notes, no nothing. So you get the topic in front of you, you get to think about it, and you get to put it on paper. I have many methods to approach this part of the test, but it's gonna be in another video, because like the writing is like lengthy. So now you have booked your test, you get to follow me for more tips, get material from everywhere, but don't overwhelm yourself with material. Be selective. uh, this period of year is a good period of year for preparation, because like it gives you some kind of heads up and a lot of time to use this period. And wherever questions you have, make sure to put them down below in the comment section. If you like this channel, subscribe to it and you will get all the news. Right, see you in the next video.